Before I get this video started, I would like to give a special thank you to the guys down at Toyota of Corvallis for allowing me to come down and review the 2019 Toyota Corolla Hatchback. If you're interested in the new Toyota Corolla Hatchback or any of the other dependable Toyota models, be sure to hit them up and they'll be happy to get you into your new ride. The link to the dealership will be in the description box below. What's going on? This is Big G from G Riders and welcome to another episode of Test Your Rides. Today, I'm going to be testing out the 2019 Toyota Corolla Hatchback SE. Welcome to the 2019 Toyota Corolla Hatchback. Introduced for the 2016 model year as a Scion product, the Toyota Corolla Hatchback was introduced as basically just a rebadged version of a Toyota product that's sold across the world that we currently didn't have. And Toyota saw kind of a market for a small hatchback here in the United States again, so yet they brought a Corolla Hatchback back here. So the Corolla IM was just basically a car that was just pulled over from another market, not making too many changes to adapt to the American market. So, except probably all the engine choices and some of the options, of course. So, here in 2019, this is an all-new generation of this is an all-new generation of the Corolla Hatchback, and this one was kind of adapted more for the US market than the other ones have. And this one rides on a updated newer platform. So this is the 2019 Toyota Corolla Hatchback SE, which is the base model of the vehicle. And this vehicle and all Toyota Corolla hatchbacks come standard with a 2-liter direct injected 4-cylinder, making 168 horsepower and 151 foot-pounds of torque. Since this vehicle is an economy car, weighs about 3,000 pounds, which is about average for the market, and because that 3,000 pounds and the CVT and just kind of the modernness of this vehicle does get a modest 32 in the city and 42 out on the highway, which is very good and kind of the market like benchmark point for cars of this cars in this class. And you gotta admit, this new design is absolutely stunning. The 2019 Toyota Corolla Hatchback starts at a very frugal $19,000, and that comes with the manual transmission. So since this one has the automatic, the CVT transmission, this one starts at about $21,000. And because this is kind of almost a leftover from the Scion product line, there's not a whole lot of options that can be had on this vehicle. So since this one just has the automatic, this one is around $22,000. And $22,000 is definitely not bad for a car that looks like this with this type of fuel economy and these type of standard features. My only problem is the fact that this vehicle does not come with a sunroof, which is kind of, it was considered that this vehicle is redesigned and they still didn't put a sunroof in this vehicle. But it's not that big of a deal. It's still a great car. So let's go ahead and take a look at the inside and see what it's looking like in there. Welcome to the interior of the 2019 Toyota Corolla Hatchback. When you first get into the new Toyota Corolla, the first thing you notice is how much higher quality that this vehicle is compared to the vehicle that replaces. Like, everything that you touch and feel feels pretty decent. Like, the dash is soft, you know, this nice contrast stitching across this nice white contrast stitching across the dash there. I like this nice big infotainment screen, which now has Apple CarPlay, which is nice. You know, the shifter feels nice, all the buttons and everything. It just feels like a modern Toyota. Honestly, it feels like the new Toyota Camry's interior, and I hope that's the route that Toyota is going to be going now from now on with all their vehicle interiors. But for the most part, the interior of this vehicle is very nice. And it's very comfortable, actually. You guys know I'm a big dude, and it's quite comfortable in here for me. So over here in the instrument cluster, everything is pretty easy to read and pretty clearly laid out. Like, I do like this I do like the screen over here on the right side instead of it being in dead center. I think it just gives it a little bit better of a design, a little bit better to the eyes for design. And we flip the screens here. It's your average Toyota Safety Sense Plus stuff, which is pretty straightforward. It's nothing too drastic or different about this. And then how everything is laid out so well on the infotainment. So like, it's really, I could tell they thought about the ergonomics of this interior a lot. Like, you just go right there for controls, like knobs. I mean, you got all these buttons on the side, but most you're going to be using these knobs for the most part. And then the 2 climate control knobs, you got the temperature and you got the fan speed there, and then all your options for all that stuff there. And I just like that it's just right there, just like everything's pretty laid out. You don't have to reach very far to get to anything in this vehicle. And I think it's just a very well laid out interior. And honestly, it feels quite premium. Like, there are a couple cheap plastics in here, but again, this is a $20,000 compact car. Like, you're gonna have some cheap plastics in here. But for the most part, this looks really good, and I'm very impressed with this interior for the most part. All right, let's go out on the road and see how this thing drives. All right, just a quick little pull in the 2019 Toyota Corolla Hatchback. The first thing you notice hop out on the road is just how much higher quality and well built this car feels versus its predecessor. The predecessor, it was a good car, but it was just kind of a, it was kind of a misfire with Toyota. I mean, they brought out the car more than halfway through its regular Toyota Corolla's lifespan, and it did not get none of the features that the modern Corollas had. So it was kind of a hard sell. But here for the 2019 model, they got all the modern stuff that all modern Toyotas have, like, you know, the Safety Sense Plus stuff, and you know, push button start, and a couple of those options there. And you know what? It just feels like a way better. It feels like a way better, well put together car than the previous model it replaces. So how does the new Corolla Hatchback drive? Well, it drives very well. Like, steering is light and effortless, like a compact car should, but it has a little bit of weight to it, which is kind of nice. I mean, the faster you go, the heavier it weights up, and actually there's some decent feel to it. The suspension's very soft, it's very comfortable, like it just cruises over bumps like it's nothing. One thing I'm very surprised about is, so this car does have a CVT, but in sport mode, it really doubles as a transmission. Look at that, downshift, 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 upshift, upshift. Isn't that crazy? Look at that. Downshift, downshift, upshift, upshift, upshift. See, that's pretty insane, right? And it's actually like in the car, if you go out and drive this car, it actually doubles like a transmission, where it's kind of aggressive. It's kind of cool. Let's go around this corner here. It's pretty responsive for like a CVT trying to be a transmission. Like, I came into this whole thing is like, okay, well, it's a CVT and it's gonna act just like a CVT. And actually, I'm very impressed by the modern CVTs, because they're starting to act more like transmissions than they ever have. And I think that just comes to people complaining about CVTs just being so drony. And I'm kind of glad that Toyota kind of threw in some kind of fake. It simulates 8 gears, so kind of like the average transmission that you're finding in most Toyota products now, and future Toyota products coming up. And I think it's really cool. So I have to drive the XSC to find out, but honestly, I think it handles decent, but it's not like Mazda 3 level of, you know, sportiness when it comes to a standard regular, you know, 5-door hatchback thing. I feel like this handles better than average, but it's not. Mazda 3 would be the top. This is kind of right under that, within there with like the Golf and, you know, this would be right in there with like the Golf and some stuff like the Subaru Impreza, even though the Impreza is all-wheel drive. But it's not nothing great. Like, it's not like hot hatchback or nothing, but it's definitely better than average. There is some sportiness to this car, and I'm glad that Toyota decided to throw that in there for this new model, because the one thing that's cool about this car, it does ride on the newest Toyota platform. So the same platform that cars like the Prius and the Toyota the new Camry and all that stuff rides on. This is the same platform, just kind of like a smaller version of it. So I could definitely feel some of that modern engineering that those cars have brought, which is kind of cool. So that's definitely a great trait for this vehicle. And you know what, like, visibility out of this car it's decent. It's not like a normal Toyota, but that's because they had to make this car a lot more stylish for it to work. And radar cruise control works. It's a very comfortable, very well built, well put together vehicle, and this is definitely a better attempt at this type of vehicle than the first time they did it with the Corolla IM hatchback thing. This is definitely a better vehicle. One thing though I'm very disappointed to not see is they still haven't optioned this car. They haven't equipped this car with a sunroof or anything like that. Come on, Toyota, like, that's the last thing missing in this car is a sunroof, and this car could sell at much more than it will. Like, I know they haven't started, they're just getting started on selling these things, but a sunroof will make this car way better. Like, honestly, if this car had the new Camry 2.5 liter 4-cylinder with over 200 horsepower, the Toyota Camry's 8-speed automatic transmission, and a sunroof, I would trade the GTI in for this, because I can see the potential of this car being able to handle well, because I remember being pretty blown away by how the new Camry handled, and this car kind of feels almost like that. It just needs just a little bit more power. Yes, it does have more power than the outgoing model, but you know, 200 horsepower would be kind of cool in this little car. Or if they did like a 1.5 turbo or something like that, and made like a hot version of this car, I think that'd be pretty awesome. And I think Toyota will sell a lot of those, because I mean, a hot hatch that has Toyota reliability and kind of the Toyota stuff standing behind it, I think that'd be that's definitely a recipe for success. But this vehicle is about, you know, 65% hot hatchback. It handles pretty decent. It handles pretty good. It's pretty comfortable to drive. It's pretty fuel efficient. You know, at $21,000 is pretty cheap, and it does come with pretty good standard features for this car. And it's just missing a couple things. And Toyota can really make a very solid, very strong vehicle in this market. 'Cause, I mean, you know, everybody's buying SUVs now, and it's nice to see a company still trying to make a good, nice hatchback. And for that, I definitely think that if you're looking for a comfortable, fuel-efficient, fairly fun to drive hatchback, and you don't care about having a sunroof or a whole lot of power, this is definitely a very good option for you. If you like this video, go ahead and hit me with a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, keep riding with me. Thanks for watching.